Welcome to the program. Now, voters in Kericho County will tomorrow go to the polls to elect a new senator. The mini polls come amidst claims by KANU leaders that the IEBC is biased towards their rival Jubilee. Now, all of these rhetoric statements we've heard from both sides. Let's now hand over to our team in Kericho County tonight. Aaron Ocheng, our associate editor, joins me now live from Kericho with all the day's latest preparations. As you can see, IEBC officials behind him making the necessary preparations ahead of tomorrow. Aaron?
Well, Yvonne, in less than 9 hours from now, all polling stations here in Kericho will open for the Senate by-election that is scheduled to start around 6 o'clock in the morning. 6 names will be on the ballot that voters will be choosing the next senator for the county of Kericho County. There were heightened activities this morning with IEBC putting last preparations ahead of the opening of polls tomorrow morning. Voters arrived here in Kericho and they have been distributed to all the 6 constituencies in the county. Of course, IEBC officials saying everything is in place. They have not incurred any hitches, and they expect that everything will flow tomorrow as usual. We also heard from one of the leading candidates in this by-election, KANU. Paul Sang, expressing some dissatisfaction about the preparation and also some allegations that there could be some plot to rig the election. But of course, IEBC coming out very clearly to say that they've not received any formal complaint from KANU, and they're saying whatever they're hearing from those KANU officials is just hearsay. All this is captured in a story that was prepared earlier on by my colleague Murimi Mwangi. Take a look.
All systems go in Kericho. Over 290,000 registered voters in the county set to cast their ballots at 623 polling stations across the 6 constituencies in the county, each of which will have a tallying center.
Our work as the commission is to conduct and facilitate the election process, and that's what we are keen on doing.
That will be the will of the people, and that is what the commission will announce, and not what people think we should do for their political parties.
But with hours to the crucial exercise, the electoral referee has come under fire from KANU leaders who now claim that the IEBC is biased towards their Jubilee counterparts, allegedly to rig out KANU's Paul Sang.
Most voters will vote, and this is something which we want IEBC to be very, very careful about.
We've been here and talking about pre-rigging. Yeah, I don't know where this concept came from, but what we want, and very clear that we have full confidence in our officers on the ground.
Trying to intimidate provincial administration, the chiefs, the DOs, the DCs, everyone, so that they can get a way of trying to rig this election.
They're not here to make sure things go the way they want to go. Otherwise, there's no need to have an election. If for any reason, of course, they are not satisfied with the elections, of course, they have the right to go to court, and that is allowed in law.
Polling stations will open at 6 o'clock and close by 6 in the evening to pave way for the vote counting exercise. But as Kericho voters go to the polls, it is a tense moment for both the Jubilee Coalition and the KANU Brigade, each of who is keen to clinch the senatorial seat as a warm-up to flex the political muscles during the 2017 general election.
Have a moment with destiny. You have to determine whether we are going to stick with the past or with the future which is here today.
Yale ambayo tunataka ni hivi. Tunataka serikali itimize ahadi ambayo walipatia wananchi.
Kama hawa wanafikiri ya kwamba kuna watu wa kudanganywa hapa, eti turusi Misri, ati twende KANU, ati twende mashakani, sijui mashinani, ati kwa sababu wao wanaungana na wale tuliwashinda, hiyo ni ndoto ya mchana.
Narudi kwenu tena. Tena kwa unyenyekevu. Niwaombe kura niwe seneta.
The seat fell vacant following the appointment of Charles Keter to the cabinet. But analysts argue that the move to create the vacuum was just a strategy by the Jubilee coalition to test the waters in the South Rift ahead of the next general election. Muremi Mwangi, KTN News.
Well, Yvonne, this is just polling stations here in Kericho Town at St. Patrick's Primary School here in Kericho Town. But we as KTN are spread all over this county, and from tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock we'll be giving you a comprehensive coverage of this election the only way that KTN can. Of course, right now there's a heavy rains that are pounding Kericho County, but we expect that by tomorrow morning probably the weather will be favorable to enable the electorates to be able to vote. So for now, from Kericho County, and I'll hand over back to you, but we expect a comprehensive coverage as early as 6 a.m. from here in Kericho. Back to you, Yvonne.
Thank you very much, Aaron Ocheng from a rainy Kericho County tonight. Indeed, we do hope the weather will subside. So let's take a look at some of those numbers in Kericho County and see what's at stake. Indeed, the analysis we've been hearing about this election it's about more than just Kericho County. So this is Kericho County. It's in the mid-western section of what was formerly the Rift Valley province. It's bordered by Nandi, Uasin Gishu, Baringo, Nakuru, Bomet, Nyamira, Homa Bay and Kisumu counties, and that is the area. Some of the major towns in Kericho County are Kericho, Kipkelion, Londiani, Liten and Kabuti. Now, population, according to the 2009 census, 752,396 residents, and the number of registered voters out of those. And remember, this the current registration process did not factor them in. This was done last year, so it's at 292,000. And if you take a look at those 6 constituencies, there you can see the breakdown from Kipkelion East, Kipkelion West, Ainamoi, as well as the other 3 constituencies, Bureti, Belgut and Goet. Now, out of those, 139,000 are female, and let's take a look at that number. I just want to be sure I'm giving you the right figure tonight. Yeah, that would be 151,368 male registered voters. Now, it is important to note when you're taking a look at this area how much clout URP has in this area. Out of the 6 constituencies, 5 were taken by URP in 2013, 1 in Kanu. Also, out of the total 30 county wards, 29 went to URP and just 1 went to the Kenya National Congress. So how did they vote in 2013? This is important. It might give us an idea of how to of extrapolation for 2017. Well, Charles Keter won that election from URP with 201,000. That was about 77% of the vote. You do know now he is a cabinet secretary, and that is what necessitated this by-election here. I'd also like to take a look at those he beat in that election. Maybe it'll give you an inkling of just what is going on. Well, the person who came second there was the KANU candidate, taking home 14% of the vote, and then the ODM candidate garnering just 17,381 votes. That is about 6% of the votes that were cast for the senatorial post. Now, for the presidential, let's take a look at those votes. 91% of those who voted for Uhuru Kenyatta, the Jubilee coalition, with just 17,000 votes, 7% going to CORD, and this is massive. The turnout for the presidential election was at 91%. Now, that is one of the big players. Tomorrow, the other one is, of course, Malindi constituency, and that is the by-election, again, necessitated by Dan Kazungu, now Cabinet Secretary for Mining. So Malindi is one of the 7 constituencies in Kilifi County. It's subdivided into 5 wards. We'll take a look at Lore, Kakuyuni, Ganda, Malindi Town, and Shela as well. Now, population of 162,712. This is from the 2009 census. Let's take a look at the numbers that are up for grabs tomorrow. So let's quickly move to that. In Jilore, about 6,374 registered voters. Kakuyuni has 5,008 voters. Ganda has 10,279, and Shela has 16,959 votes. Out of those, looks like the male-female population of the registered voters is just about even. 27,000 for the female, 28,000 for the male. Now, let's take a look at how they voted in 2013. For this particular post, Dan Kazungu, as you know, won the seat on an ODM ticket with 46% of the vote. That was 16,679. And important to note that all the counties in this constituency was swept by ODM, those 5 that we've been telling you about, all of those candidates who represent them at the county assembly. Now, Dan Kazungu beat his rivals, Lucas Maitha, who took home 6,052. He is from URP. Let's take a look at the others in that election. We have Fuad Mohammed Twalib from the Wiper Democratic Party. He took home, excuse that typo there, it's about 3,461 votes. And lastly, we had Edward Karani, who's from TNA, garnering 2,661 votes. For the presidential election, this is what took place in Malindi in 2013. Raila Odinga, of course, reigned supreme in this county. 79% voted for him, with just 5,687 going to Uhuru Kenyatta. This is important to note. The turnout for the presidential election was 66% in that. Now, this gives you an idea of what to expect tomorrow. Now, it is also important to note that turnout for by-elections isn't as high as the general election. In fact, the average turnout for the last 7 parliamentary by-elections since the general election in March 2013 is about 56.79.